So I want to apologize in advance if you guys hear rain outside. It's raining, obviously. No, I just have rain sound effects in my background. That's why you hear that. But I wanted to talk about Bandersnatch because, oh my god, this is so cool. Let's talk about this Netflix film or whatever you call it, Black Mirror episode. No, this is a Black Mirror movie. It is... I'm trying to figure out how I can go into detail about this and explain the plot without spoiling anything, because there's so much that I want to talk about specifically about this movie. It's such a cool experience. So let me try this real quick. So Bandersnatch is a movie about a video game programmer in the 1980s who pitches a game to a developer, and they're really interested. They want him to make this said game. And the game that he wants to make is based upon a book about the same concept of this movie, where in this said book, the reader has the ability to pick choices for this main character. And that's what this movie is as well. It is a film, a Netflix film, where you have the ability to pick where this main character goes throughout the story, where he's given two choices to pick from in a certain scenario, and you choose as an audience member what he does. And this changes the course of the movie, and you get different endings. However, the book he is adapting from, the author killed his wife, so our main character starts to go through traumatic events in his life as he's making this video game based upon this book from this murderer. So I'm very familiar with interactive experiences. My first time with an interactive experience was on YouTube from the Chad, Matt, and Rob YouTube channel. If you guys haven't checked them out, they've been on YouTube for a very long time. I don't know if they make YouTube videos anymore. They've gone to just making films. They were part of the VHS movies. They used to make YouTube videos though, and one of the videos that they made was an interactive experience where you clicked how the characters progress in their story, and it would take you to a different YouTube video. And that's how you got to the end of their video when you clicked on different paths that took them to different endings and such. That is what this movie is. You're sitting in your living room and just clicking as to what this character can do. And the objective of your main character, the goal that he's trying to reach, is whatever he does throughout this film determines whether or not this video game he is making is a success. And it says for this specific Netflix movie that it takes an hour and a half long to finish it. I would say that I was in front of my TV for 3 hours. This is something that you are going to find yourself doing as you start this. You want to figure out how to get the best ending possible, or just to explore the different endings for this movie, because it's super interesting to see how the littlest choices can bring you to different scenarios throughout the movie. Like, for example, I didn't really know this until I read it online, but apparently the most simplest choice in the beginning of the film is when the character is having breakfast with his dad, and his dad asks him, "What cereal do you want?" Now, I just thought this was like a tutorial. I thought this was just like a way of just teaching the audience how to select an answer or a given choice in this movie. But it actually apparently has an impact on the story, and I had no idea. I thought it was just a tutorial, but that's super interesting, and that makes me want to watch this movie again. And I think that's one of the main takeaways from this experience is the amount of times that you are probably going to be watching this film and the different endings and scenarios that is provided through different choices that the audience makes. And one thing I really did like about the film is when you restarted, like say you got to a point where you weren't successful in making a good video game and it starts back to a certain scene, what happens is it's not just a replay of the same scene. The main character starts to notice deja vu. So when he comes across certain characters that he's met in other sequences, he starts to realize, wait a minute, I think I've met you before. So as the story progresses and you're doing this experience, the character starts to become self-aware that something's going on, that he's not really in control of his choices. He thinks that he's in control of his choices, but he starts to realize that maybe someone out there is picking his choices for him. As to whether or not this movie is good, I don't know, honestly. I don't know whether or not to tell you that this is... I can definitely say that this was a good experience. This was a really cool experience that I've never witnessed on this level before. Like I said, I've witnessed it on YouTube videos before, but I've never witnessed it as a movie, and I really liked that about it. I think this is the best interpretation of this kind of experience that I've seen thus far. And as for whether or not the movie is good, what I base upon a movie is not just cinematography and things like that, but the story itself. I definitely liked the setup for this. We have a character who has a deadline who is trying to make a video game by this time, and he's obviously going through some problems with his father. He's living with his father, and it goes into detail, if you choose, it goes into detail about what happened to his mother in the movie, and that's one of the takeaways that I would say about this film is it's only good if you make it good. If you pick right scenarios that lead you to the most interesting ending. There was a point in watching this where I got to an ending and I wasn't satisfied with it at all. I thought it was cool that it was one of the endings, but I was like, okay, I need to go back and choose wisely. And that's one of the things that I'd say about this is you have to really be self-aware about what you're choosing, and you have to really think about where you're leading this character. That's one of the things that I would say is just be very careful in choosing your cereal. I'm going to a friend's house tonight, and I want to show this to them, and I want to see the different choices that they're going to pick. And honestly, like I said, I watched this multiple times. I was on a specific scene for about an hour. So I watched replays of this scene, but something happened that I just wasn't expecting. And I'm not going to go into spoilers, but I'll give you the scenario. So there is our main character. He's at his house, and one of the other characters comes to his house to visit him, to talk to him. And that same scene happens again in my replay, and a different character goes to his house to talk to him, to approach him. And I wasn't expecting that whatsoever. I was like, wait, what? So this kind of led me to believe that there were more scenarios that I just haven't explored yet. I know for a fact that there are more scenarios that I haven't explored yet, and I definitely want to check that out for sure. But overall, I really enjoyed this film. Yes, it's a film. I would call it a film. I really enjoyed the experience. It's, I don't know, actually. Is this a film? Is it a game? I'm so, like, confused right now, but I can say that I definitely really like the experience, and for anyone who has a Netflix, check this out. I think it's going to be a really cool experience for you guys, and yeah, and I love Black Mirror. I'm always going to be in support of Black Mirror. They're, like, the most creative power force right now. So yeah, guys, that was my review of Bandersnatch. I hope it wasn't too confusing. Comment down below what you guys thought of Bandersnatch, if you've seen it, or played it, or experienced it, or even let me know what endings you got. I'm super curious about that. I might get in trouble for that. I don't know, spoilers. I'm sorry if you guys read spoilers. I don't know. It'll be interesting. I'm an asshole. Comment down below what you guys thought of this, like this video, and please subscribe to Pixel Talk if you haven't yet for more movie reviews, gaming content, and so on. Thank you guys so much. I am Corbin Stuckey, and this is Pixel Talk.